Hey everybody, it's Lenora from It's a New Dawn, and I am here with Lori. Lori, give you a little spiel.
Hi, I'm Lori with Co-Creating Impact Podcast, and it's timesunshine.com.
Anyway, we are doing our little series. This is our fourth week. We're on the fourth agreement, you guys. The four agreements. Get it on audio, pick up the book. It will absolutely change your life. Before we start, all my links and Lori's links will be below in the show notes. And if you want to be on my show, on my podcast, get in touch with me. My Google number is there, my email, my website. Definitely a lot of avenues for you to go to get in touch with me. Rawr, there is a code now for 5% off. Check out the company. If you go to their website, their link is below. You're going to see what good they do for this world. They're awesome. The bar is awesome. The code is capital L, Lenny, and the numeral 5. You'll get 5% off. Any questions about the bar or anything, just let me know. You can email me or text me or whatever. So on that note, we are going to get into the fourth agreement, which is always do your best. I want to hear your take on it, the fourth agreement.
Yeah, always do your best. So that could be a loaded question. A lot of people are, perfectionists, and I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I try to take it with a grain of salt, but I do try to do my best. That's what I tell my kid all the time. As long as you're trying to do your best, what your best could be a little different every day. And it's our God-given right to have what we want in this life. And I believe that wholeheartedly. I'm not saying go out and just take it. You have to work hard. You have to have a belief system behind you. And what my grandmother always used to say is, God is love, love is God. That's all you need to know. Do the right thing. And I always lived by that. I loved it dearly. And we have to, our elders have so much wisdom. The universe is vast. If we go out and we continuously ask, you shall receive, right? As long as you're working those small steps to get to that goal that you have in mind. And doing so will get us to where we need to go, as long as we're not I'm an overthinker. I'm a perfectionist, especially when it comes to stupid stuff like little logos. I'm like, no, I like this here. I like that there. It's just the tiniest little thing. And I'm like, I'm never going to be satisfied with it. You do it. And I'm going to move on because I'm too much in my head. So that's part of what I got from a lot of this particular chapter is the master of transformation and how we can move forward as long as we are in a good-hearted place and doing the right thing with others and being kind and all that jazz.
Right. This is where I had a little bit of a question in my head, like, what's always doing your best? Like, what does that mean? Just like you said. But he writes in the book about, and this isn't verbatim, in your everyday moods, your best can change from one moment to another, from 1 hour to the next, from one day to another. Your best will also change over time, but keep doing your best. We could wake up, from a crappy night's sleep, and our best is not the best it could be if we slept really well, or if I didn't eat really well that day, and my best isn't going to be the best it is if I ate really good nutrition for that day. Your best, you're doing the best you can because you realize that you're so picky with your stuff that you were able to let somebody else do that. That's pretty huge.
I let go and let God. I got to go with the flow. And at one point I could sit there for days and hours, and it's a waste of time. And I just finally thought, okay, it's going to be as good as it's going to be. This is my ideas. You roll with it. I can't continue with this anymore. And I'm letting it go a lot more. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just have to tiptoe into what our adventures are, and then learn and grow as we expand and divert, kind of. Success is never one way, it's constant ebbs and flow. And if we can't get into that groove and just see black and white and just throw our hands up and be like, okay, this isn't working for me, so I may as well just dump it all. It doesn't work. We have to take back and give and just continue to do our best every day.
Right. So why do you think that this was the fourth agreement? I mean, he wrote the fourth agreement is the one that allows the other three agreements to become deeply ingrained habits. What do you think he meant by that?
Because a few things. Because if we are going to look at being impeccable with our words and all the agreements, we can be hard on ourselves. We can say, I just wasn't so impeccable with my words today, or why did I say that, or I should have said this. And doing our best is even in those little things, the negative self-talk and all those type things. And I think that if we can wrap it all up because they're all tied together, I think that's what he's meaning by do your best with all of that I've said up until this point. Just do your best.
That's awesome. I don't know. I mean, I feel like because we talked about everything else, it just flows into this last agreement. So because we talked about all the agreements, I think we should just kind of wrap it up and talk about the change and, what this book meant to us. And, you can go first because I'm going to think about my answer while I'm not going to try to, I'm going to listen to you because that's rude. But I'm trying to think like, let's wrap it up and say what this book meant to each of us, both of us. So.
Oh boy. In a nutshell, I think when I read it, like I said before, it was a positive affirmation for things that I've learned with my grandparents and things that I was brought up with. And it was something that just opened my eyes and made me wonder and think. And to this day allows me to move forward in my life with more grace as far as trying to be present and impeccable with our words and just all the ingredients. And it's one of those things that the more you read it, the more you get out of it, the more you can absorb it, I feel. And there's so many different things that you pick up in each time that you read it. You're like, oh, I didn't really absorb that, or I didn't listen to that too much last time I read it, or heard it on audio video or whatever. And it's just one of those books where I've carried it around since I bought it. I think you said it came out in 1997, and I've moved a lot in those times. I can't even count how many times I've moved. And it's one of those books that I recommend to everyone, just so that we're on kind of the same page, even though they absorb it differently because we all have our own perceptions and our own belief systems. But it's helped me grow as a human and to move forward in finding my true joy and wanting the things that I want and not settling.
I love that, Lori. You're so great.
Oh, thank you.
For me, I think just like how you make a habit with exercise or you make healthier habits in your life, this was part of my health journey. Because I want to say, like I said in your podcast, I always had health and wellness down. I mean, that, well, maybe not wellness, but I always had fitness and I always had that kind of drive and discipline for whatever I did. But my mental health always wavered. And there was always that judging and there was always that assumptions and personally, that's why I said that taking things personally and making assumptions drove me into the ground. I'm going to be honest here. Before I read this book, and I'm not saying the first time I read it I was completely changed and I was like, this isn't about me, it's about them and I shouldn't judge and blah blah blah. But it's like anything else, like getting better at exercise, getting better at eating better, getting better at whatever you're trying to achieve. The more you read it, the better you're going to get thinking better about your life in general. It is a game changer. My whole person and my whole mental health changed from reading this book. I'm not saying there wasn't the whole eating well and exercising, of course, that was all my circle of friends, my support, my community, of course. Those are all great. But this is part of it. And it's something that is embedded in my very soul because I think about it all the time. These 4 agreements, the 2 main ones, the assumptions and personally, are always at the top of my list, but I can't recommend it enough. I knew it was something I wanted to do on the podcast because even if one person picks up this book, okay, that's fine. It'll trickle out to others, but that's what changed my life. So.
We'll forever be connected by the 4 agreements.
The 4
Cheers.
Cheers. Anyway, thank you, Lori, for coming on, and that wraps up our 4 weeks series for February. I hope you all enjoyed that. Lori, I hope we do something like this again with something else. So, and if
so
you
much
all
fun.
have, if you all have something you'd like us to do, reach out to me. That would be great. And on that note, thank you, Lori, for coming again. I love you.
Thank you for having me. Love you back.
Have a wonderful and blessed day, everybody.